Good afternoon and welcome aboard. It's good to be having your company this lovely Thursday, the 12th day of March 2026. My name is Sandra Kahunde. Happy to be here to serve you, and we are coming to you live from Broadcast House, Nile Avenue. These are some of the highlights we have for the day. Now straight into the activities. Parties with cases in the commercial court have been encouraged to embrace alternative dispute resolution, that is the ADR mechanisms, instead of relying solely on adversarial litigation. Now, delays in resolving commercial disputes continue to slow down business transactions and investments, which in turn affects the country's economic growth. It is against this backdrop that different speakers at the 4th African Gumzo La Alternative Dispute Resolution Conference in Kampala have urged parties involved in commercial disputes to adopt ADR as a faster and more efficient way of resolving conflicts. ADR mechanisms such as mediation and arbitration are seen as key in reducing case backlog while promoting a more investor-friendly environment. The Gamzola ADR conference, which started on Monday this week, will close tomorrow, Friday, in Kampala.
Mediation is usually a give and take. Sometimes you find these clients have defaulted not because they want to, maybe because there is a problem. For example, the floods which you have seen like in Nachivubo. Now you find maybe he had deported things and they have all been affected. So for that period, he has defaulted not because of his own reasons, but because some situation has arisen. So what does that client want from the bank? Maybe to go to the bank and say, yes, I know I owe you money and I must pay it back, but can you give me maybe more time given what has happened? And then if the bank understands that, maybe then they can negotiate an extension rather than coming to court. So mediation would be the best option in some of those situations, especially where clients come to court for relief. Or sometimes where the issue might be you over-deducted my from my account. My account was overdrawn by you people when you were recovering the loan. Now that's a question of reconciliation. Can you get, for example, an auditor who will look at that account and say, this is what you borrowed, this is what we have deducted, you are either right or you are wrong.
If you go into a mediation process and your intention is not to resolve the dispute, but rather to buy time and delay paying your debt, then mediation disadvantages the bank. So we have to insist that the parties, namely the bank and their clients, negotiate in good faith. And that good faith is promoted by the mediator. And that is why the head of the commercial court told us that they give 60 days. And don't forget what has been said all through this meeting, that courts do not resolve disputes. Courts make decisions. They adjudicate cases. So whether you like what the court tells you or not, the courts will make a decision and the Uganda government will enforce it, whether you like it or not.
Now, from court taking into state activities, the State Minister for ICT and National Guidance, Godfrey Kabyanga, has advised organizations operating savings and credit cooperative organizations, SACCOs, to embrace digital technology as a way of minimizing unnecessary operational costs. The minister made the remarks during the 5th annual general meeting and the official opening of the Trinity SACCO offices under the South Rwenzori Diocese in Kasese. He noted that the government is ready to support organizations that focus on empowering communities and eradicating poverty.
They should go digital because the board was thinking they should open branches, but me, I advise them that that might add on the administrative costs. These days, even banks, some of them are closing branches. They are all digital. So let all SACCOs go digital. First of all, it's easy. to monitor the flow of their money, and two, it brings services nearer to the members. Once in a while, government can support with the digital improvements like computers, because under our agency UCC, we support community groups, and the SACCO is one of the community groups which we can support if they need that support. But since we are now pursuing our digital transformation roadmap, we want most of the financial services to go digital.
We're returning shortly after these messages with more updates. Keep watching.
So, Muchara.
Yes, Daddy.
You know the children are going back to school and things are a bit tight, huh? For now, why don't you take half of the fees to junior school, and for the school van contribution, we shall pay later, huh?
Daddy, why don't we pay using MTN Momo, where we stand a chance of winning school fees for a whole year and more? By the way, you can also apply for a school fees loan, and also participating schools can win a school van.
That's right! Win school fees for a whole year and more. Get Momo goodies and a school van for participating schools. You can also apply for a school fees loan. Simply dial *165*80# or use the Momo app.
My question is, what is the difference between rental tax and income tax? How comes I'm paying both taxes on my own premises? If you want to have a tin, but you are not making any income from your business, you should take on the obligation to continue filing your nil return.
Commissioner General, to invest in taxation, when people understand taxes and they know the importance of taxes and they know the fair assessment of these taxes they're supposed to pay, I think everybody will embrace taxation.
As banning groupage cargo, clearance protects small traders who cannot afford to import full container loads individually and rely on consolidation to remain competitive. Cargo to come in groupage is consolidation, it's legitimate, and we can't ban it. What we have banned, or what we have stopped, is the use of container leaders. Now, Fiona, the good news I have for you is that among the new tax proposals,
now you can get direct answers. Send your tax-related questions via WhatsApp or SMS to 0790-141-887, and the Commissioner General of URA, John Musinguzi, will personally address them. Tune in to UBC News Tonight every Monday and Wednesday for expert insights and clear explanations. Buza Commissioner.
Mama, owulira otya?
Banange
MTN neyanziza. Tata omwana ogenda mugambako oba wali wano? Taliwo.
Sente zembadde ngenda okusasula ku school fees z'omukulu zigenda kunyambako okuweerera batoobe abalala ababiri. MTN mama genkoledde kinene ng'asinga omumaama sirijjerabira obulamu bwange bwonna.
Ngenda kusibira kusasula school fees nyiga *165*880# sasula school fees ng'okozesa momo. School funds mu masomero tugenda zigaba. Osobola okwewola waliwo school fees loan, genda ofune looni oba otolinawo ssente ozisasule mu bbanga mpola mpola obulamu butambule nga bulikoola.
Welcome back. Good to know you're still watching and following. Now, on two business updates this afternoon, accountants are working with non-profit organizations are set to benefit from a new global accounting framework aimed at strengthening transparency, accountability, and consistency in financial reporting across the sector. The International Non-Profit Accounting Standard INPAS, the first comprehensive framework specifically designed for non-profit organizations worldwide, has been introduced to address long-standing gaps in financial reporting, governance, and financial management. The framework will guide how non-profit organizations prepare, present, and disclose financial information in a more standardized and credible manner.
Many non-profit organizations have long relied on multiple accounting systems and donor-specific reporting formats, creating inconsistencies that limit comparability, credibility, and reliability of financial reports. The Secretary of the NGO Forum, Dr. Stephen Okello, says the tightening funding environment has left many NGOs financially strained and increasingly vulnerable to pressure from funders. He notes that during peak years, NGOs injected more than 4.5 trillion shillings annually into the country's economy, but declining donor support has significantly affected operations.
Our being here for Plus looks at more trusts. And I think for us as a regulator, that means so much to us. And it's also about ensuring that organizations entrusted with public and donor resources operate with transparency. And that's why I'm glad that Samantha and the rest are introducing all these tools and standards.
The president of the Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Uganda, Timothy David Ediom, says the International Non-Profit Accounting Standard introduces a standalone accrual-based reporting framework reflecting the unique funding structures and operational models of non-profit organizations.
This standards for NPOs, international NPO standard, is to cater for entities in the NGO sector so that the donors look at a consistent report.
The Director for INPAS, Adoption and Engagement, CPA Samantha Musoke, says the standard was developed after extensive global consultations and is expected to transform financial reporting by promoting transparency, accountability, trust, and integrity in the management of the non-profit resources.
For the first time, it introduces this idea of fund accounting in an international standard. That means you can get transparency about the use of unrestricted funds, and that means people can have more confidence to give unrestricted funding without thinking that they therefore have to close their eyes to any kind of transparency and accountability.
The remarks were made during the 2026 NGO Symposium in Kampala, which brought together regulators, accountants, development partners, and civil society leaders to discuss implementation of the new framework at Mistil Hotel.
Is to really create a space of dialogue where we are going to discuss emerging issues within our space, but more importantly for us, we want to really dissect and discuss the new kid on the block, the international non-profit accounting standard.
Meanwhile, Anes Kalibala of AF Mpanga Advocates welcomed the partnership between his law firm, Ikapau, and BDO that brought together more than 350 lawyers, accountants, and NGO leaders to discuss reforms aimed at strengthening transparency, compliance, and integrity in financial reporting for sustainable socioeconomic development.
And one of the critical outcomes for today is to allow us an opportunity to engage with the regulator in a manner that is not you being someone